It can be frustrating when a teenager acts defiant towards you. You've tried to raise them with love and support, but now they're pushing back and rebelling against everything that you say or do. So, how do you deal with this situation? Hello, my name is Christina Campos. I'm founder of The Impactful Parent, and every week I give you parenting videos to help you in your parenting journey. If you have a particular topic or parenting question about your school age child that you would like for me to address, please submit it at theimpactfulparent@gmail.com or by messaging me on social media. And all submissions are kept anonymous. Today, I'll be giving tips for dealing with a defiant teenager. This is not going to be an easy episode. I will be honest about some of the shifts that you must make in your life, and you probably won't like what I have to say. But if you are ready to see a change in your household because you're done with the defiant behaviors, then this episode is for you. I got 7 big tips, and stick around to the end because it's the last one that's the most important. So let's get started. How to deal with a defiant teenager. Number 1 is let go of your need for control. A common mistake parents make when dealing with a teen with a defiant attitude is to try and maintain control over every aspect of their lives. They do this because they feel teenagers must be influenced and shaped and molded to become responsible young adults. But the truth is, your window of control is totally over. Your child is old enough now to make their own choices. Yeah, you can make their life so miserable, like taking away their phone and their privileges and all their friends, and that might make them comply. However, it is still your child's choice to comply. Also, the more you squeeze, the more your teenager will slip through your fingers. Every teenager is going to assert independence, their self-reliance, and separate a little bit from their parents. And this is normal behavior for any animal getting ready to leave the nest. These same adolescents will instinctually push back and rebel even more if they aren't allowed some capacity for freedom. You see, the teen brain is begging to act grown up and independent because it's subconsciously testing the waters and learning how. So it is preparing for adult life. Yet, as soon as you give up on trying to control everything, you'll find yourself more at ease and able to move forward in the relationship. This doesn't mean giving up all your authority and letting them do whatever they want. I am not saying that. They will still need rules. However, it just means accepting that you're not in charge anymore. How to deal with a defiant teenager. Number 2, get help from a professional if necessary. Yeah, that's number 2 because asking for help, it's not easy, but neither is changing. I can tell you to let go of your needs for control, and you could be nodding your head in agreement, but doing it, well, that's a whole other different ballgame, right? Normalize asking for help and being proactive about your personal betterment, your self improvement, and your mental health by getting a counselor or a psychologist. In fact, this is such good role modeling that I would encourage you to get a therapist for your child also. The extra help, it's priceless, and it might be the only way that you're going to see significant changes, at least a lot quicker. Next, how to deal with a defiant teenager. Sometimes it's not personal. So change your perspective to see beyond your teen's defensive behaviors. Okay, this one is tough because you're human too. It's tempting to feel like your teen is intentionally trying to get you mad. Sometimes having teens is like being in an abusive relationship that you're supposed to ignore. Kids can do and say the most horrible things to parents, and we're just supposed to take it. Why? Because parents are supposed to be the safe space. I will love you no matter what. And because parents love their kids unconditionally, we often get dumped on with negative emotions that our teen doesn't know how to process or even deal with. Teenagers are still learning how to deal with all these new emotions that puberty presents. And frankly, sometimes they don't have the skills to deal with these big emotions productively. Not yet, anyway. So, this means that your teen may be having a bad day and then lashing out at you. Your teenager may be angry at someone else, but taking it out on you. And they might feel overwhelmed by the world and need some time alone to process those feelings. But they're not avoiding you, they just need to be alone. So it can be challenging for parents not to fall into the trap of thinking about why their child is defiant. Why is this happening? Still, it's important not to focus on those things if you want a positive change in your relationship with them. Remember that sometimes it's just not about you. This is where your solution should be teaching your child coping skills and role modeling better ways to express anger, frustration, and sadness. Your next tip: how to deal with a defiant teenager. Stay calm and show them that you're in control. Kids feed off your energy and they learn to deal with their emotions by watching you. You can't put out a fire with more fire. Yelling back is only going to make the situation worse. Instead, it would be best to show your child another way. So, stay calm and show that you're in control of yourself. Don't react to their anger or their frustration. And don't try to reason with them either. 14-year-olds aren't interested in explaining why they shouldn't do something they want to do anyway. They don't care about any of those explanations. So just let it go. And again, ask for help from a counselor to learn how to keep your cool. This is so much easier said than done, and you'll need to discover your own coping techniques so that you can do this. How to deal with a defiant teenager. Set clear boundaries and enforce them consistently. Yeah, you want your child to make their choices and let up on the control grip, but that doesn't mean that you let them do whatever they want. They still need rules. Rules provide security, and consistency provides predictability. Teens absolutely need these two things to grow into an incredible adult. So, here are some critical tips for making your rules. First, dig deep and come up with only 5 rules that you consider are the most important. Start there, okay? Then sit down with your teenager and ask them what rules they want to implement into the house to make them feel safe. Then together, write those rules down and compromise on a short list of rules that everyone can agree on. Then discuss the consequences when any of those rules are broken, even if you break those rules yourself, because these are house rules, not teen rules. And then discuss and decide on rewards for abiding by those rules. And lastly, stay consistent and ensure everyone in your house is on the same page. You cannot let it go because you're tired or you're too busy. Nuh-uh. You have to implement consequences and rewards with 100% consistency if you want to be taken seriously. Next, how to deal with a defiant teenager. Give your teen space when you think they may be overreacting or angry, but don't let their behavior go unchecked. When you think your teen may be overreacting or angry, give them some space to calm down. Your first reaction will be to yell back and take those privileges away. But pause instead. As mentioned earlier, you don't want to yell or do anything that's going to escalate an already undesirable situation. So instead, give them space to let out their frustration. For some kids, that might look like a timeout. And I'm talking about teenagers. That means a little bit more time in their room to be alone. That's their timeout. But for other kids, it might be letting them rant and rave while you sit there and listen, not talking and just nodding your head. See, when you give your child the space to release all those big emotions and plead their case without you interrupting, sometimes that's enough to de escalate their mood. Now they're in a better place to listen. Having said this, here's another skill that is much easier said than done. Sitting back and letting someone yell and rant at you without commenting or rolling your eyes, yeah, that's difficult. Again, it will take some practice. But after the rant session, do not let the child's behavior go unchecked. It's important to correct them when they're wrong, even if it feels like a battle of wills at some times. This is part of teaching your teenager how to manage their emotions and has nothing to do with being right. So, whenever possible, you don't want to engage at all when a child is emotional. They need to let those emotions out and then simmer down, and then you can start the conversation in a calm voice. It's also important for you as a parent and the other family members too to model good behavior so your teenager can see how someone else appropriately handles conflict. And lastly, if you take anything away today, this is it. How to deal with a defiant teenager? Work on your bond and connection. This is the most important step of all. This is the secret sauce to better behaviors and more influence over your teenager. Your teenager won't care what you think or what you say or what you need if they don't have a bond with you. Period. Most parents make the error of thinking that the parent child bond should be effortless and natural. No, relationships, they take time and lots of effort to cultivate and grow. You must intentionally bond and communicate with your child over and over again and go beyond what you are already doing. So, here are some suggestions for developing a bond with your child so that you can just get started. One, start by talking in the car. Make any excuse to start a conversation in the car when your child doesn't have to look at you directly, and even so that they can chat with you while they're looking out the window. It's going to make it easier. Then, ask open ended questions where they cannot answer yes or no. Download the Impactful Parent app and do one of my free 30-day challenges to get you started. Here, I will give you the questions that you can ask your child, one every day for 30 days, so that you don't have to think of your own independently. And to get that app, just go to theimpactfulparent.com/app to download it for free right now, or you can go to your app store. Next, schedule 15 minutes in your calendar every single day to check in with your child and see how they are doing. Ask questions about their day and talk about things you can't argue about, like their video game or their favorite YouTuber or some other interest that they might have. You might be utterly bored with this topic, but it's not about you. This is about what your child cares about. And then show up for something that they care about. Yeah, physically show up. Maybe it's a sporting event. Maybe you have to force yourself to sit next to your child and watch them play their favorite video game for a little while. That's okay. Either way, pick an event that they care about and show up for it. Do it for them. For more information on handling teenagers who talk back or are disrespectful or you just butt heads with, download the Impactful Parent app for more. Several videos inside the app are about this topic and the app is free. It's going to get you started on ideas for turning your situation around and getting the help that you need. The app, again, is absolutely free for you to download. So go to your app store or theimpactfulparent.com to get it today. But until next time, you got this. I'm just here to help.